follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Yes, here we go. Follow the Money. Paulie Howard, Matt Humans, live from Circa, Sirius XM Channel 158. Big program coming up. Jeff Seeley to talk golf. Scheffler gets his caddy back. Also, ESPN Baton Rouge, Jimmy Ott, talk about the Saints. How bad do they want to win? He'll answer that question. Also, LSU as well. And Jensen Lewis on what Manfred said Sunday night. How bad is the injury for Wheeler? And a lot of props and picks MLB. Top 5 Tuesday. Bill Barnwell top 5 list we'll get to. How about a 31-7 run? A good MLB card. We'll tear into the props. We got a big WNBA slate. We got a lot to get to. Quarterback news. How you doing, Matt Humans?
Great to be here. How about the Milwaukee Brewers actually trailing the Cubs in the 6th inning 5-3? But the like you said, the big news of the day, the quarterback announcements, right?
Yes. So we start there for the second day in a row. About a week ago, if that, Richardson was minus 260 in some spots to start week 1 for the Colts. I know Mike Florio, Pro Football Talk, tweeted out it's better that they realize their mistake and don't make it worse. Steichen came out today and said we are going with Danny Dimes week 1 at home against the Dolphins, and it will not be a short leash for Danny Dimes. So this has to sting that you take a guy number 4 overall in the draft a couple years ago, and he's not even your starting quarterback. So he has essentially been benched twice now during his short career. So Danny Dimes goes week 1. Your thoughts on the move here? And a bit of a surprise, but again, they're going to go with Dimes, and both guys have been busts in this league. At least Danny Dimes at least had one playoff run with the G-Men.
Well, you said it right. A bit of a surprise. I don't think it's a big surprise, but it's a bit of a surprise because when you draft a guy number 4 overall, like Anthony Richardson, so many people were skeptical of that. That makes a bold statement about a big mistake made by the GM and the head coach when you admit going into his 3rd season that he can't be your starting quarterback. So I think Chris Ballard, Shane Steichen put their jobs on the line by starting Danny Dimes, the quarterback, and saying, well, Shane Steichen, maybe he's butting heads with Chris Ballard. Who knows? Maybe the GM wants Anthony Richardson to start and the coach wants Daniel Jones.
Sure.
Like, their jobs are on the line, right? You got to win games. Steichen said it right. This is a year-to-year league. We can't look into the future. We got to try to win right now. Who gives us the best shot to win? Daniel Jones. That says a lot about how bad Anthony Richardson is if Daniel Jones gives you a better shot to win. And he has not been in your program that long. He's not been in your offense that long. So I think that Chris Ballard is, I've said this for a few years, one of the luckiest GMs in the NFL because this guy should have been fired a long time ago.
Yep.
He's been the GM of the Colts for about 9 years. They've never won the division, and he's still got his job. And that's a bad division.
Yep.
If you can't win a bad division, how's the GM keep his job? He's made a bunch of personnel mistakes. Shane Steichen, I think, has got to make it work with Daniel Jones, or he's going to be gone. They're going to clean house. So the Colts' top 2 guys there put their butts on the line with this. Now, as far as what you said about the comment, he's not going to have a short leash. You have to say that. You can't say, well, we're going to name this guy the starting quarterback, but he's going to be on a short leash. So if he makes some mistakes, we're going to switch.
Yeah.
You can't make that statement. You have to go with the guy. If the Colts start out 1-5, they'll probably switch quarterbacks. I think Colts under 7.5 wins looked like a pretty good bet last week. It still looks like a pretty good bet or even a better bet now.
Well, who are they stopping? That's the other thing. The defense was horrendous
Special
last
teams
year.
also stink. The defense stinks.
Yeah.
I don't think Steichen's a very good game and clock and game manager. Sometimes not a great play caller. I got questions about him as coach. So there are a lot of questions here about the Colts. And even when you play in one of the weakest divisions, maybe the weakest division in the NFL, I still think you could look at a team like this, bet under 7.5, and be pretty confident about playing the Colts under.
Well, I know Irsay had some comments when they drafted him that he was high on him. And certainly he's been buddies with Ballard. That's what kept him around.
He was out of his mind for a long time.
Okay, but the other thing was you knew he was a project when you took him. Mm-hmm. That's the other thing. He was just like you, this medical marvel. Big guy, right? Physical dude, but it's like
basically 6'5", 245, 40-inch vertical, run like the wind.
Yeah, but not accurate at all.
And got a rocket arm.
Uh-huh.
Right. But in the NFL, you've got to thread the needle on 3rd and 8 on quick slants, and you have to be deadly accurate to survive and win games, and he's the opposite of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes. I'm very intrigued by the Week 1 game. They're now 1.5, 2 at home against Miami. And everyone can't stand the Dolphins. Everyone's anti-Miami.
I hate both teams.
Yeah, right. But this is interesting that the Colts are on a 0-10-1 run Week 1.
I know.
How bad they've been. They can't win a damn game in Week 1. So should Indy be favored? But it's all anti-Miami throughout the entire summer, and it continues. And the total's sitting at 47. So that's a good way to start the season, an intriguing game. And you're right, I'm anti both teams as well.
I guess if you're into playing teasers, you would tease the Dolphins up to +8, right?
Not bad, yes. The other news, McMillan could miss the first 4 games for the Buccaneers. Awkward fall, hurt his neck. Liked him last year. I know we were on his props a lot last year. He came on late, good weapon for Mayfield. But he's going to be missing time for the Buccaneers. That came down. Better news today was Stafford and the Rams. So that's better news what McVay said today. We'll keep an eye on that. And your thoughts on Monday Night Football? Well, the Bengals won, and again, Dan Quinn is now 2-16 straight up run in the preseason. But that Cincinnati defense, they are not serious people. If Hendrickson's going to hold out, and as he told Laura Rutledge, they're not even close on guaranteed money. As bad as that defense is, and Washington had no problems in the first half scoring, they also have to protect Burrow. And that offensive line doesn't get enough attention how bad that O-line is. You get him killed, which what happened last year, too. So congratulations, the Bengals won, but there's a lot to be concerned about in Cincinnati.
And, we talked about this yesterday. Zach Taylor stopped, a 7-game preseason losing streak? He had 2 of the worst coaches in the NFL in the preseason going head-to-head last night. I was on the wrong side with Commanders plus 3.5. I really thought Dan Quinn, from what I read, he was going to play Jaden Daniels more. And he saw Daniels out there run around, score a touchdown, probably said, I don't need my quarterback running around that much. Let's take him off the field.
Yeah,
he
took
didn't
the
play,
hit. Yeah,
he didn't play much at all. And Sam Hartman was an absolute clown as a backup quarterback.
Yeah. I cannot believe Browning is not a starting quarterback. It still blows my mind.
Browning's going to be...
After what he did when Burrow got hurt?
He's good enough to be a starting quarterback for a lot of teams, including the Colts, probably, right? So, what was it last night? I think the Bengals scored 14 points within a span of about 30 seconds at the end of the first half, and that just blew the game open after the Commanders had that 14-7 lead. But I think you can look at the Bengals and say, well, this offense is exactly what we thought it is going to be. Highly explosive, high scoring. Burrow's going to put up big numbers. You got a bunch of big play receivers, and including Chase Brown, the running back, who can make plays out of the backfield. Offensive line could be a problem, and the defense could be a big problem if they don't get Hendrickson signed. So I'm pessimistic about the Bengals as a whole. If you made me play their win total today, it'd be under 9.5. They've missed the playoffs in 3 of 5 seasons with Joe Burrow. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
And
I thought Aikman was strong on the pregame. It's like you just wasted a season. The guy's in his prime. You have him and Chase, and you win 9 games, couldn't stop anything, and missed the playoffs. Unacceptable.
That's true.
I thought he was good.
Zach Taylor, by the way, first 2 weeks of the season, in his 6 years as coach, the Bengals are 1-11. So I think he's actually doing the right thing here by playing his first team offense in the preseason, because you've got to be better than that coming out of the gate in week 1.
Yep, and you know what to do Saturday. Baltimore money line. Taking on Washington, and Dan Quinn won't play anybody, and again, a 2-16 straight up run in the preseason. I don't know what to do with Washington, because now Quinn said it. Robinson's gone, and then you got to get McLaurin in there.
Right.
So I think Daniels is in for a huge season, and the weapons are. But if you don't have McLaurin, and now Robinson's gone, that's certainly going to hurt. And I don't know what Deebo Samuel has left. As I've said many times, I thought he was terrible last year.
He looks like he's lost a step.
Yeah.
He looks overweight.
That too.
I'm not sure he's going to be the dynamic playmaker a lot of people think. You see the name Deebo Samuel. I don't think he's going to do a whole lot in that offense.
Mm-hmm. How about the big announcement with the Circa Invitational? I love your show on Friday nights. Everyone loves it, all the picks. How about an update on who's in the field and also the Average Joe contest?
Circa Friday Football Invitational. We've got 14 of the 25 handicappers announced, and put 4 more names out there last night. Steve Fezzik, Chris Zanuck, Las Vegas Pro Bettors. Tony Gordon, who won the Circa Million in 2021, had the best ATS record in the history of the contest at 63-27.
Cool.
And then one of your favorite people on the planet, Big Randy McKay out of North Dakota. So we got 14 out of 25 named. And how about this? Bill 80, the network chief, put up on his newsletter, the Average Joe contest. And we announced prizes in the Average Joe contest. Last year was just the winner gets an automatic berth into the Friday night contest with the pros. Average Joe gets to compete with the pros, and that was Drew Bridges, a lawyer who lives in Boise, Idaho. He won the contest. Well, this year there's actual prizes up for grabs, flights to Vegas, Circa hotel rooms, Edge Boost is a sponsor, and we had 157 entrants in Average Joe, I believe, last year, 157. By 7 o'clock this morning, I think we had about 300 entrants. So in let's say, a 5-hour window blew away last year's number. So the Average Joe contest is going to be highly competitive, and it's great to see that take off.
Absolutely. Well done. Good job. Brewers trying to do it again. They were down 5-0. It's 5-4 Cubs, bottom of the sixth, game one of a doubleheader. Clock's ticking. Week 0 starts this weekend. NFL just weeks away. Get VSiN Pro. Lock in your edge. New subscribers get instant access to our college football and NFL betting guides loaded with team previews, power ratings, betting systems, best bets from VSiN's top analysts, and that's just the start. The morning email from Bill 80, every best bet, every host, every guest, betting splits, market insights, betting systems, and numbers from Mackinnon, the prop analyzer from the NFL, dog videos, the tools, data, and systems, $9.99 or save 50% with an annual plan. VSiN.com/subscribe. VSiN.com/subscribe. Oh, mama! This is the best and the biggest Malinsky special I've ever seen tonight. It's coming up on Follow the Money.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Paulie Howard, Matt Youmans, Mitch on vacation all week. We'll talk to Jimmy Ott at the bottom of the hour about the Arch Manning hype. And also, how bad could the Saints be? We'll try to answer the question. I think he'll have a great answer. How bad do the Saints want to win this year as well? Jensen Lewis on baseball as well. It's a final game one of a doubleheader. Cubbies beat the Brewers, fly the W 6-4. Jeff Seeley joins us now every week to talk golf at Cutmaker Jeff on X. Cutmaker podcast out tomorrow. And this is he's on the progressive guest line as well. I've never seen this before, my friend. Scotty Scheffler minus 1,200 to finish top 10.
Well, and Paul, you said something real quick. I want to mention this. You said the Arch Manning thing. The Colts have to be tanking for Arch Manning by starting Daniel Jones, right?
Well, it's not
have to be.
Jeff, it's not a wise move to tank for Arch because there are a lot of people who think Arch is going to stay 2 years at Texas.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I mean, the Colts might be bad for 2 years. I mean, the way we're going, we're going to be dreadful. We're going to be absolutely dreadful. No, to answer your question, Paul, I don't recall the last time I saw somebody minus 1,200 top 10. And frankly, I think it's almost unfathomable to imagine Scotty not finishing top 10, right? And so, no, I think it's really hard. It's hard to bet him this week in terms of just the plus 150. I think if you're going to bet him, you want to look for an exacta way to bet him. Some of these guys you can find like in the 20-1 range. If you were to go, say, Scotty Henley or Scotty Hovland or some of these guys, you can do some good exactas. That's how I would play it if I were going to play Scheffler, because if you do the exacta, you can actually get a better price than you can in some of these winner without markets. So you assume Scotty's going to win. You play the exacta that way. That's how I would play it if I were going to bet Scotty.
Does a caddy really make a difference, or could Paul Howard caddy for Scotty and he could still win this week?
The amount of money we could raise to see Paul Howard caddy for Scotty Scheffler would be out of this world, and would be maybe the greatest sitcom in the history of television.
Yeah.
So, however, I think even Paul could, and it would be. It's obviously doesn't matter a ton. He's had 3 different this will be his 3rd different caddy in 3 weeks. Obviously, back to Ted Scott is his old caddy, and I don't think it matters. The way he's playing right now, he's winning events he doesn't need to even play in. He's winning in somewhat convincing fashion. Obviously, came back and beat Bobby Mack, who crapped down his leg, but you kind of knew that Scotty was going to make a run and he'd be there. Obviously, 2 weeks ago he was close and didn't quite get it done. But if he's not in the final group on Sunday, I'll be shocked. It's just a question of, can you imagine another Sunday of Tommy Fleetwood and Scotty Scheffler, though? That'd be great TV, and I would go broke again. I went broke betting on Scotty to run down Tommy last time. Unfortunately, Justin Rose stepped in, but I will go right back to the window if it's Scotty and Fleetwood in the final group on Sunday.
It's an incredible day. Ohtani's plus 110 in some spots to hit a home run, and Scheffler's plus 150 to win a golf tournament. Tell us about the course.
Sure. Again, so I guess we're at East Lake Country Club, where we same place we are every year. Just had a redesign, though, last year to make it a little more difficult. Went from a par 71 to a par 70, 7,400 yards. It's going to play long. But, again, this is a course where you have to hit the fairways. You got some difficult rough here, so you want to hit the fairway. I'm prioritizing, really, fairways. Hence, my number 2 guy in my model behind Scotty is Russell Henley. Has 2 top 5s at East Lake, although last year was the first year he played with the redesign, and he finished 4th. He's played good, not great, the past few weeks, but it's similar to what we saw coming into this event last year when he finished 4th. So I ran 4 models this week. Henley graded out number 2 overall. So it makes a lot of sense. In stat-wise, you know he's going to hit fairways. That's in demand this week. I think he makes a lot of sense. I bet him 14-1, the winner without market. I also think you could do an exacta with Scotty and Henley and price that one out depending on your book. But I definitely like Russell Henley, winner without 14-1 this week. I think he makes a ton of sense. As far as Rory goes, guys, he graded out number 3 for me, and I think I'm just going to outright fade him this week. If I were going to play him, I would just play him at plus 850 or 9-1 to win because there's no point in playing the winner without now. I don't know that it's going to go Scotty Rory. So if I were going to bet Rory, I would bet him the outright. I'm not going to, so I'm fading him. My favorite player on tour, Ludwig Åberg, after letting us down the very disappointing Sunday last weekend, he's 12-1, winner without market. Struggled last year by hitting poor iron shots and losing 3 strokes on the green. But now we get an Åberg this week who's gained in 8 straight events with his irons, gained his putter in 2 straight. I do like him a lot. And last time we're going to talk about this year, guys, while he's 4 years younger than Scotty, I think in 4 years we'll be talking about the Åberg and the role we're talking about Scotty today. I think he will be the most dominant golfer on tour in the next few years. And his best is yet to come, so I'm super excited for him.
Well, that's a bold comment. And you know what? I was playing in the Westgate Superbook golf tournament on Saturday, talking about this with a couple of guys on the course. And I said, when you watch Ludwig Åberg and his sweet swing and all the talent he's got, you wonder, why does he not win more? And, Wes Reynolds and I used to say the same thing about Scotty Scheffler until he finally broke through. Åberg's not good enough with his short irons, with his putting. But you see he's getting there, and you really think would he be a player you would look to bet on a regular basis in 2026?
For sure, Matt. And one of the things that's interesting, though, the challenge is, and we saw this for years, you'll recall with Jon Rahm, too, right? It was the price was always deflated on Rahm because everybody knew the talent was there and knew it was just a matter of time till he was the number 1 player in the world, and then he was. And I think this is the exact same thing with Åberg. It's not if, it's when. And unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get inflated prices. I think 20-1 is an inflated price whenever you see it. And yeah, anytime there's a 20 in front of him, I'll be betting him, and I'll be betting him in the Masters again next year. Again, he's made 2 really good runs at the Masters, faltered late on Sunday there twice, but I do expect I'll be betting on Åberg, and he'll be in a ton of my futures parlays going forward, especially at Augusta.
Follow the money. Paulie and Matt Youmans, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Jeff Seeley, our guest on the Progressive Guest Line. Give us 2 other guys you like and that winner without in the 20 to 25-1 range.
Yeah, guys. So Victor Hovland seems to be a popular selection this week, and for the price, I think he's probably the best play. You can get him at DraftKings 20-1, the winner without market. His iron play was great at the BMW, but hasn't been great off the tee since May. Parlayed some incredible iron play and just uncharacteristically elite chipping at the U.S. Open to finish 3rd, but he lost strokes off the tee at the U.S. Open. So that in and of itself is the only thing that has me off him a little bit this week. If you don't keep in the fairway, you aren't going to win, but that's factored in this price, I think, with Victor Hovland at 20-1. If he can just hit the ball straight at all, he'll be there on Sunday. And then lastly, we've got Ben Griffin. And guys, I have never heard – did you see the interview when he said he OD'd on creatine?
Yes.
What?
He was dizzy. I think he was lightheaded. He took too much creatine, and I think he was 6 over in a span of like 3 or 4 holes, right?
He apparently OD'd on creatine, played his first 3 holes, and the final round 6 over. If he just shoots even par in those 3 holes, he finishes 7th, tied with Hovland. What a bizarre turn of events. But again, a guy who I've been on all the time. He's 25-1 winner without. Putting has been super, super hot for Ben Griffin. And again, another guy that if he keeps in the fairway is going to have a big week as long as he micro doses his creatine. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. But honestly, guys, there's only 6 guys I think can win, and I just named them. So, but Matt, I wanted to ask you this: who's more disappointing, Colin Morikawa or Brooks Koepka? Because it's close.
Well, I kind of gave up on Koepka last year. I'm going to say Morikawa because I probably bet him 5 or 6 times this year, and I finally had to quit in the middle of the summer. I'm an idiot for betting this guy. And, Wes Reynolds keeps playing him. It's FOMO, right? You don't want to – it's Cameron Young. You don't want to be on the sideline the week he breaks through and wins. I think Morikawa has been a disaster this season. I know that you're probably more disappointed in Koepka, but you also said, I believe last year, that you were pretty much bailing on Brooks to win a major again, right?
Yeah, for sure. And so again, when we talk about that, I just looked at some matchups. Morikawa is even money against Victor Hovland in matchups.
Ooh,
wow. I love that. Yeah. Absolutely love that. That has got to be the best value on the board this week, matchup wise, because you got a guy who's, again, short of being a little loose off the tee, and Hovland doing lots of stuff very well. Morikawa can't find his butt with both hands right now. I like that matchup a lot for Hovland.
All right, my friend. Thanks for a few minutes. Take care.
All right, thanks, fellas. Take care.
Jeff Seeley.
Jeff Seeley's in the Westgate Super Contest College Contest.
Good.
Yeah. Got to get those numbers up in that contest.
Absolutely. Get it up to 1,000. As the official horse racing partner of VSiN, First Bet built for bettors who demand more. First Bet just isn't about placing a bet. It's about helping bettors of all levels. First Bet in-app tools give you, this is brutal. Win, place, and show probabilities for each runner so you can quickly and easily identify good value plays and improve your ROI. Right now, you can take advantage of a limited time $250 sign-up offer. To claim your bonus, use promo code VSiN250 when you sign up in the First Bet app or at firstbet.com. Promo code VSiN250. First Bet app or at firstbet.com. Promo code VSiN250. Okay, my God. Very good. What did you think of Huey Magoo's yesterday?
Well, I mean, I expect greatness, and that's what I got.
Delivered?
When I went over there. I walked over to the Fremont Food Court.
2 viewers there were with you, too.
Yeah, a couple of Paul Howard fans showed up. Yeah. They said that we want to try out Huey Magoo's. We heard your recommendation, and they were very impressed by the place. So it delivers. You know? That Fremont Food Court, by the way, is underrated.
I had never heard of Huey Magoo's ever. Until like the one person tweeted, hey, try these chicken tenders.
Huey Magoo's should be a sponsor on VSiN.
Absolutely.
Right? We've done a lot to promote that franchise.
Yeah. Look at the X numbers. Very low. I totally agree. We paid tribute to a legend up next, and you won't believe what Orgeron said about Arch Manning. Coming up.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Get back to Bill Barnwell's Most Improved and Teams That Decline on 15 minutes. Now we're joined by Jimmy Ott, ESPN Baton Rouge. He'll be out here doing his show live from Circa and Stadium Swim. He's on the Progressive guest line. He joins us now to talk a little Saints and also LSU. Appreciate the time, my friend. I think you have some interesting perspective here as we're kicking around. Saints could be the worst team in the league and could go under their win total and should go under their win total. How bad does this organization want to win, though?
Well, Mickey Loomis, thanks for having me on, guys. Mickey Loomis, longtime general manager, has told numerous people that he doesn't want the Saints slide to be the last impression of his tenure as a general manager. I don't know how much longer he has. You know, the scoreboard for general managers, one of them, is the salary cap. And the Saints have been in the worst cap situation for years, and it hasn't been close. And nobody with that track record would retain his job. But because, the Benson disowned his kids, Miss Gale doesn't have any of her kids, there's no heirs, when Miss Gale passes. And so they set up Dennis Lauscher for the Benson Foundation. But Mickey Loomis is in the will. I mean, Loomis's family. So it's a compromised organization, to say the least. And so he's trying, believe it or not. He didn't expect a Derek Carr to retire. It was like the Saints had won the NFC Championship game again, the way they were celebrating down in the French Quarter when Carr retired.
Yeah.
But it's such a sad situation, and it's funny that the rest of the country can see it because their 2 preseason games have been standalone games early on the NFL Network on Sunday. So you just get to see how bad it is. And so it's Loomis is trying. He doesn't want to go down. He doesn't want to go tank. Now listen, see me at mid-stretch when they're 2-7, 1-8. They may alter their direction, but it's an organization, sadly enough, that is trying. So get your programs this year. Be like when they sucked when I was a kid. You had to keep your attention span going. You take the programs, you make a paper airplane, you see if you can land it on midfield. So that's the biggest applause they'll be getting at the Saints games this year.
Incredible. That's interesting you said that, too. We had Mike Detillier on. He said the same thing. He said it was like a parade when Carr retired, that the fans were so happy what happened. So it's not good with the quarterback situation. We'll see if Shuck can play the second rounder. But, I mean, certainly fans, if Humans is right and Ed Orgeron's right and Arch is the real deal, how about we go 2-3 wins and get Arch Manning?
Arch isn't coming out this year. Yeah. So everybody in his family has a degree. I know he sort of, checked his grandfather by saying he wasn't coming out, but not just because his 2 uncles stayed 4 years, but we all know what's the rush? And we all know the magic number. You better have 25 starts in college to best prepare you for the NFL. What is the rush? And especially if the Saints get the number 1 pick, he definitely in leaving Texas. So, there's an interesting relationship between the Mannings and the city of New Orleans and the rest of the state. So, for some reason, we somewhere along the line, we owe them. But the only quarterback to ever have a jersey retired and has never had a winning season, Archie Manning. So best season, 8-8. Put his jersey up. Let's go.
Jimmy Ott, ESPN Radio Baton Rouge, president of the Manning Family Fan Club, on with us right now. Jimmy,
Archie is good though. He's good. He's a big guy, much thicker than his uncles were at this stage too.
That's why I think he's going to be the real deal. A lot of stuff. I know some people are skeptical. I'm not. Saints win total opened 6.5 briefly this summer. Now you see them 5.5, 4.5 at DraftKings. 4-1 odds for the Saints to have the fewest wins in the NFL. Would you make all those bets? What's your projected record for this team? Because this quarterback situation is about as bad as it gets, it appears.
I do have a little mini ladder at 6.5 and 5.5. Mm-hmm. I'm willing to take a shot at 3.5. Well, you better get on it quick, because it doesn't look like that trend is reversing. And I don't know where the buyback spot is on the Saints over. The thing that scares me, Matt, is the schedule. The schedule is really, really weak, and you tank. You don't tank by players. Players don't tank. It's their career, man. Not for long. They have a short career, and if they're not playing for the Saints, they're playing for their next employer. You don't tank by coach. You tank maybe by rotation. You can do that. You tank by front office, and this front office is not tanking. They are going to try, unless it gets so bad this Miss Gale does the unthinkable and lets Loomis go mid-season. But the rookie coach isn't trying to tank. The players aren't trying to tank, and certainly the delusional general manager isn't going to tank. So that's what scares me. Those two things, but. I'm going to have something on it. I'm just looking for the best price, but I'll have something on the Saints with the worst record.
Yeah, and fewest points plus 450 is out there as well. Who do you think they start week 1?
I think it's going to play out this week. It's a hot topic of conversation, and we don't know. Nobody kind of has a feel. You know, all the reports about Rattler look so good. You saw what he looked like. It's interesting that the two backup quarterbacks, when both teams really emptied the benches, looked the best. Well, that's not the guys you're going to be playing on Sunday. So I'm not sure how they're going to do this rotation for this final preseason game. It's really, really close. To me, the higher ceiling is Shough. I've seen enough of Rattler to know that he's undersized, not great arm strength, limited mobility. Shough at least looks the part a little bit more. He's kind of been dumped down left and right too, but both equally challenged. Both look better than the starter in both of the preseason games when they emptied the bench.
Follow the money. Paulie and Matt Youmans, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Jimmy Ott, content director, Bet Rivers, ESPN Baton Rouge on the Progressive Guest Line. How about the big one Saturday night? Clemson taking money up to 4 against LSU, and if Brian Kelly can win a big one to start the season.
It's a couple of things. This is Brian Kelly's best roster since he's been here. You know, he's not as abrasive with the media as he was here. When he got that 10-year contract for $100 million, he exhaled a little bit. He got more friendly with the media, and then he got pretty damn lazy recruiting. These rosters for him the past few years are not typical LSU rosters, where at one time not long ago had 5 consecutive years of the most players in the NFL. Mm-hmm. This is his best roster. Here's a stat I like as well. The 2 deep defense, the second string defense, has 95 combined starts at other places or at LSU. All but 11 are Power 4 experience. That's the 2 deep. They actually have a rotation up front, and this defense is way better than what we've seen in previous years. And the offense is really good. The weakest unit on the team is the offensive line. All new players -1, and they're kind of slow to come on. I don't think they're terribly weak, but I think they'll get a slow start, coming out the chute, as most offensive lines do. Not a great recipe against a good defensive front on the road and a tough place to play. But Nussmeier's the real deal. He's got a ton of targets, and they're deep there as well. Check out Trudez Green at 6'7", the sophomore. He's a tough matchup problem for everybody. But early on, this defense is just way better than what everybody's seen the last 4 or 5 years. Under in that first game in Clemson. So I think it's going to be really, really low scoring, as it can be, where the offenses are a little bit more challenged, a little bit more behind the defenses of college football in week 1.
Total of 58. That game is Saturday, August 30th. That's a night game. So you're saying play under a total of 58. Would you take the 4 with the Tigers?
I would take the 4. Yeah. I think the loser of this game will make the playoff. I think both teams make the playoff. Okay. I like LSU over 8.5 better, because that gives you some wiggle room. As we saw, 3 teams in 9-3 in the SEC didn't make it last year to the playoff. Who knows how it may fall, but over 8.5, I feel more comfortable. But I think the loser of this team is going to have, Clemson too. They have so much experience on the offensive line. For all of Dabo's teams, they say this is his best offensive line that he's had. We've seen Klubnik. We've seen the wide receivers not as good as they were back in that heyday, but they're good. They're a little light on running back, but they're proud of that defense. So got one of your boys, Matt, from Purdue. He joined the defensive tackle is going to be first round. The defensive end is going to be a first rounder. One of those guys missed 7 games last year. Terrell, A.J. Terrell's little brother, and one of the corner. I can't see Nussmeier going his way at all. There's a big drop-off on the other side. But I think both teams are going to feel each other out. But the loser of this game, I think, has a really, really good shot still making it to the playoffs. So I like both to make it to the playoffs.
I was blown away when we went to Omaha by Tiger Nation. All the Jell-O shots. And I think that Tiger Mike is just paid to drive around with the Tiger and play Born on the Bayou out of the speakers. It's crazy. I can't believe that tailgate is. I've never seen anything like it with Tiger Nation.
Any excuse to drink, any excuse to have party. I mean, it's just, Mardi Gras, let's just shut down the city on a Tuesday and get blitzed. So, it's part of what we do, man. We'll come up with all kinds of reasons to have a good time. So, and you just got a little taste of it. Need to get you down here in South Louisiana, Paulie.
Sounds good.
As well.
Sounds good, my friend. We'll see you later this week. Thanks for popping on. Good perspective.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
There you go. Jimmy Ott, ESPN Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge, the home of Raising Cane's. the spot where you go every week when you buy the huge tray for your football party.
That's
at your
right.
House, right.
You got that. Got that. Yeah. We'll travel, baby. So 31-7 to the over. How about 30-8 to the under? Part 2, Barnwell's teams to decline, coming up on Follow the Money, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, Sirius XM Channel 158, live from Circa.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Big day on the network tomorrow. Jensen Lewis and Dave Ross live from the Mint at the unveiling of the new studio tomorrow. I've seen it. It looks unbelievable, Jensen. How hyped are you tomorrow as we get to see the debut of the new studio? We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, likewise, boys. Great to be down here, and got in yesterday. Had a chance to walk around. The Kentucky Downs that it's connected to, guys, is just immaculate, and I'm so excited when Derek and Mike get in with us in studio tomorrow for a couple of segments to pick their brain on how they want to capitalize off that. But it has all the feels, guys, of where you are right there at beautiful Circa in Las Vegas. It's probably about a third of the size as far as the sportsbook goes, but as soon as you step in it, you feel like you're right at home at the southern tip of Nevada, no question about it.
It is a real deal, no doubt. Looking forward to that tomorrow. You're the perfect guy to ask. How big is this injury here to Wheeler with the blood clot surgery, and if you expect him back this season?
It's incredibly massive to me, Paulie, just because of the timing of where we are in the regular season, and from the human part of it, right? We're thrilled that the procedure that he had done was successful. Rob Thompson kind of hinted at that, but also when asked about timelines, there's no firm answer, and I don't expect one here anytime soon. So, that being said, in the futures market, it's really difficult now to look at the Phillies either in the National League or the World Series market. And I would believe that if indeed Wheeler is lost for not only the rest of the regular season, but can't even pitch in the postseason, then it's, a fight to get into that, number 1 or number 2 spot. If Milwaukee continues pace, guys, you're looking at the Phillies having to contend with the Dodgers, the Padres. It is not just an easy, hey, we're going to slot right into that 2 spot. And be able to take advantage of that and be able to bypass on the division bypass into the division series, I should say. So bottom line here is this: you hope that the news is as optimistic as possible that he could return this year, but guys, everything I've heard does not sound very promising for the timeline this late into the regular season.
Paul, yesterday Dr. Nish Gandhi checked in on this and said out for the season. He doesn't think Zach Wheeler is going to pitch again. You would think that's a big setback for the Phillies. When you look at the National League, do you like the Brewers? Would you bet the Brewers to win this?
Matty, I was fortunate. I know Mike Palm and I were high on the Brewers beginning of the year. I have a 22-1 future on them to win the National League from before the year. I have the Padres. I get the Padres at 13-1 too. So I kind of feel with where the seedings are and potentially could end up, I don't feel like I'm going to add anything, guys, because there is a realm of possibility where both San Diego and Milwaukee might have paths where they lock in into that National League Championship Series, and then it's house money from there. That'd be nice for you. I think the only thing I would look at, guys, is the Reds, if they stay healthy and they sneak in. Man, that is the one starting pitching staff that I would want to have absolutely nothing to do with. They will feel like everyone is just giving up on them and they don't have a chance. But if they find their way in, the Reds might be the most dangerous team in the National League postseason.
I want to ask you about this Brewers-Cubs game coming up at Wrigley. Game 2 today, about an hour and a half away. Brandon Woodruff, the starter. Milwaukee minus 118, total of 6.5 or 7. Would you bet the Brewers in this spot after dropping the first game today?
Boy, they almost found a way to get to Danny Palencia and company again. Another heartbreak hotel finish there, right? I played the Cubs on the alternate run line this afternoon, Matty, at -1. But I also wanted to stay away from Game 2 just because back-to-back days here, long days at the ballpark. I was looking more towards the Brandon Woodruff strikeout prop. Now, I realize that his previous outing was a bit shortened, but that to me is where I would go. The Cubs still an immense amount of struggle, and with the way that Kyle Tucker and a lot of the other key bats have really disappeared here in the last couple of weeks, I'll err on the side of caution. Long day again, day-night double dip. They were there for a long time yesterday. I like Brandon Woodruff in that strikeout over prop tonight.
Yep, Boyd got the win. He's now 10-0 at home. That is something. You like the Reds tonight. They beat the Angels 9 in a row. You think they get to Hendricks?
What a nice job by them getting a huge series opener, Paulie, and now you turn it over to Hunter Green, right? I think a lot of ways to attack from a player prop standpoint. Kyle Hendricks getting the start here for the Angels. I've got a little parlay myself here with Ke'Bryan Hayes and Miguel Andujar, both to record a hit. I do feel the offense could find a way, to get early, and really allow, Hunter Green to be able to settle in. So early offense, not opposed if people want to jump on that Reds run line, but I played a little more conservative on the money line as well.
I think we see runs at Fenway. How about a side and total here? Boston at home to the Orioles.
Yeah, Paulie, I can't get away from Boston tonight. Like them a lot. I played them on the money line, played them -1, and I think I'm going to play that over 9. 9.5 too, I think is playable. I'm with you. I think the conditions are right. The way that Walker Buehler has been, there's an opportunity for a gas can here and there, but I'm hoping that he kind of holds his mud early enough there that Tomoyuki Sagano gets hit around a little bit. So I like the Red Sox offense, like them early, kind of in that same mold that I'm looking at the Reds here. So I think early offense kind of rules the evening here up at Fenway, and I think the Red Sox get it done.
How about a game that's about to start in Pittsburgh? Let's talk about Mad Max Scherzer. This line's bouncing around a little bit, but we'll call it Blue Jays -140. Mitch Keller for the Pirates. I look at Mad Max in his last 3 starts. 19 innings, 4 earned runs, 14 strikeouts, 4 walks. He's been pretty good. Do you trust him here at -140?
Yeah, I think it's kind of intriguing that Tommy Pham is not in the lineup tonight with what we saw yesterday and some of the comments, some of the reactions. So, and Max would be the perfect old school guy to run a little chin music up at Tommy Pham had he been in there tonight. But here we are, Toronto in a position where they need a little bounce back. And, I think also the elephant in the room, guys, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. going to go for an MRI there with that leg injury. And so someone who has been about as critical to success offensively for any club in the American League. We know with Toronto really surging here ever since the end of the first half and through the start of the second half. I would look to Bo Bichette tonight if you're looking for a player prop. Do like him to get an RBI. Would like him at 2+ hits, runs, and an RBI. I think that Scherzer finds a way. And yeah, Matty, this Pirates offense, man, just when you think you got him figured out, they kind of put up a crooked number. But I trust the way Max has been going as of late. And guys, he essentially could be still pitching for a spot in this rotation, knowing that Shane Bieber is going to get activated here at the end of the week.
It's a Gatling gun. Jensen Lewis, our guest on the Progressive Guest Line. Follow the money. Paulie Howard, Matt Youmans. How about the Twins? At home, the A's have won 14 of 22. Ryan's got a 2.18 ERA last 9. How about the Twinkies?
Finally, someone who could beat the Yankees in Yankee Stadium. It does not happen with the Minnesota Twins, whether it's in the regular season or in the postseason. So yeah, Twins -1 is an official play for me tonight, guys. And I could see if you want to be a bit more conservative, just hang on the money line. The A's offense, we know it begins and ends, right, with Nick Kurtz and Shea Langeliers. So those guys have been just a force to be reckoned with. So I think Joe Ryan, the way he likes to operate in that ballpark, a lot of comfort and a lot of success for him there. So I would trust the home team tonight, and I think Joe Ryan limits that A's offense.
Why is the Malinsky special a thing? You were a pro athlete. Why is that a big deal where I was on a long road trip and I come home and I have issues my first game back?
I'll speak from experience, Paulie. I think it was my second or third year in the big leagues. And I think, unfortunately, a lot of our guys maybe timed or mistimed wanting to expand the families, if you will. So it just kind of lined up where, hey, you come home from the road trip and, mom all of a sudden hands off the responsibilities to you. I got to tell you, if you were betting us back in my first couple of years in the big leagues, that first road trip, that first day or first city of the road trip, oh my God, Paulie, we were gangbusters. I mean, you saw a lot of new dads that could not wait to sleep in, that could not wait to be able to feel refreshed and 100%. So there is something to the daddy strength there about being the new dad, but my God, when they could sleep in, boy, our boys were swinging it left, right, and center.
Great perspective. Interesting. What'd you make of Manfred's comments Sunday night about geographical realignment?
So it's inevitable we're going to get expansion, guys.
Okay?
I think Nashville is a prohibitive favorite here. There's been a lot of smoke around that for many years now. I think if you're looking at a second team or a second city, the lean I hear is a lot more to Salt Lake City, just from a geographic location, and that would kind of tie into where Rob Manfred is talking about the realignment and the ability to kind of keep things much more regional for those divisions. I think in a perfect world, they want to kind of go to an NFL format where we have those divisions. We already saw a little window into the future, guys, in the pandemic when they expanded the postseason to 8 teams. Go ahead and bookmark that because I think that's coming as well. So very similar to the NFL model where you're going to have the 4 division winners get the automatic bids, and then I think they'll try and mess around with the wild card burst as well. But it's not a matter of if, guys. It's a matter of when it's coming.
Yeah, I have no problems with Nashville, Salt Lake, expansion. But what about doing away with the American and National Leagues the way they are set up? I think that's going to be a very controversial decision if that's made.
Guys, the hardest thing we're going to have to do is get a working agreement. We may be without baseball after the end of next year with the way these CBA tensions have risen very early thus far in the process.
There you go, my man. I know you said that at dinner. All right, good luck tomorrow. We'll be watching. Appreciate you.
Thanks, guys.
Jensen Lewis, check him out tomorrow, live from the new studios in Kentucky. Up next, what we're betting in Pocket Place.